off our meeting. Welcome to Rotary. It's a great day to be a Rotarian, and it's actually a beautiful day outside, and I understand we're going to have a nice weekend, so we can look forward to that. Do we have some guests? I see one or two names.
I have a couple.
Okay.
Jared Hitchens, who is the Greater Topeka Partnership Marketing Director, is going to assist me with my presentation today.
Okay.
And I have my daughter, Carly Frye, who is Executive Director of Lexington Park Independent Living, who's also joining us today. Okay,
great. Welcome to our meeting. And I'm trying to do a quick scan to see if there's any other.
Stan, yes.
I see Marcy is back with us. She was on our meeting last week, so thank you for joining us, Marcy. And let me do another quick look. I think that is it. But thank you, guests, for attending today. If we could go ahead and have you mute so we don't have background noise. And we'll go ahead. Well, actually, don't mute yet. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we will mute. So I'll kick it off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I had gotten the cart before the horse. Now, if we could have you mute, please. And we will have announcements in a minute, but we actually have some official business to take care of. It's that time of year for elections, and per our bylaws, the immediate past president is the chair of the nominating committee, and of course, that is Joni. And we do have a slate of officers, so I'm going to turn it over to Joni and let her walk through the slate of officers for the 21-22 year, and actually some of the board members would go beyond that time period. But anyway, Joni, if you could go ahead and give us a report.
Thank you, Stan. Well, I'm really excited about our slate for the upcoming year. And the proposed club officers start with Marie Pico as president. Wave, Marie. President-elect is Steve Knoll. Vice President is Vince Frye. He's not on my screen, but I know you're waving. There he is. Very good. Very good. Our secretary is Carol Jordan, and I haven't seen her yet. Treasurer is Deborah Rex, and the sergeant at arms is Bob Clausen. Proposed board of directors are for the 21 to 24 term. We have three outstanding people. Zach Aarons, you know, he was here, then he left, and he's back, so we're capturing him. Glenda Du Bois and Jeanette Weens. And then for the 21-23 board of director is Karen Streeter, who will be filling in for a vacancy for there. So we're thrilled that she agreed to accept that. The nominating committee, the past president for 21-22 is automatically the chair. And so that is Stan Martindale. However, as a club, we vote for two past presidents of the last 5 years. And so you would select two, and those include Mark DeGroff, Grant Glenn, Grace Morrison, Curtis Sneeden, and myself. Then we also have our Topeka Rotary Foundation, and we have 3 members that we will be voting for. One is Elisa Snavely, and the other is Rebecca Crotty. We have a third person who's been asked, but we're waiting to hear back if they have accepted the nomination. Next week, we will be reviewing the slate again, and at that time, we will ask if there are any nominations from the floor. Then the week following that, we will have the elections. And we're still figuring out how we're going to do that with us meeting in Zoom and working out all of the mechanics of that. We do need a 1/3 quorum for the election to count. And for us, that would be 51 people. So be sure and start talking up, attending a meeting and participating in the election to your friends that you don't see on Zoom very often. And with that, I turn it back to you, Stan.
Okay, thank you, Joni. And we will probably finalize the details of the election, and I always hesitate to say what we tentatively are thinking, but I will go ahead and mention it. The vote will probably be by email, and of course that cannot go out until after we take nominations from the floor, if there are any. But we will present it probably be by email, so we will really want you to focus in on that email that will probably come out a week from today or perhaps a week from tomorrow, so that we can get the results by that November 11 meeting, I think it is, or maybe the 12th. I'd have to double check. That would be November 12th as I look at the calendar. So anyway, Joni, thank you for heading up the committee. It looks like we have an outstanding slate of people. And let me go through a couple of announcements. And it's unfortunate to bring you a little bit of sad news as our first announcement, but one of our former members, Richard Nickham, but you probably knew him as Nick Nickham, and that's how I knew him, has recently passed away. There is an obituary in today's paper if you want more details. So our condolences to Nick's family. It is not too late to sign up for the South Club Pumpkin Run. It's going to close on Saturday, but you can still do that, and there is a way to register on the South Club. I think I also put a link in my email from yesterday. Likewise, I've said it several times, but we do have a district meeting coming up, District 5710, and that will be Saturday, November 7th. The in-person cap has been reached, so the attendance thereafter is Zoom only. The good news is there is no cost other than your time commitment to see it. Now, you can watch the whole thing, but in my email yesterday, there's 3 major presentations, I'll call them. There's other activities. But if some of those are of interest to you, you can tune in just for that portion. And there is a registration link in my yesterday email. I think the district-wide email is going to go out for that perhaps today or tomorrow. You may know, but I wanted to make you aware. I'm grateful for the zoo giving us a new home, but I want to make you aware of it is a new fundraiser they're having. It's called Zoo Lights, and it will be starting on Saturday, November 27, which is the day after Thanksgiving, I believe, and will run until December 30th, and it's going to be a spectacular light display. There'll be some other things going on beyond just that. So give that some thought and look it up on the zoo website. Last is you need to set your clocks back this weekend, so keep that in mind. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker, who is the Vice President-elect now for next year. But in any event, Vince Frye is our speaker. He is the President and CEO of Downtown Topeka, Inc., and more commonly known as DTI, I think. And he's also the Senior Vice President of Greater Topeka Partnership. Prior to his role there at DTI, he had a position for 25 years in the broadcast management with a local television station. He, for 15 years, was a partner of Frye Allen, is an advertising and marketing firm. And he has been a past president of a number of local civic organizations and currently serves on several, numerous actually, nonprofit boards, including he is a board member of our Rotary Club. With that, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Vince and let him present about what's going on downtown.
Well, thank you, Stan. It's always a pleasure to speak about downtown, but specifically to my friends at Rotary. When Steve asked me to speak, he said, you know, you're retiring at the end of the year. Why don't you give another talk to us before you leave? And I said I'd be glad to. And I realized that I've spoken several times to Rotary. One of them was a talk about the redevelopment project several years ago and the pocket parks and everything that was going to happen downtown. We also had a presentation on the Evergy Plaza. We had one on new businesses that were downtown and some of the vacant buildings that are still available and the potential for those. So I thought, well, looking back on my 8 years as president of DTI, maybe I'd reflect on what I kind of inherited and what I needed to do to make our organization vibrant and revitalize itself. So I took over in 2012, and our organization was founded in 1964. Has a long history, and we've had some executive or board chairs over the years, like Henry Bubb, president of Capital Federal, and Ham Abrams with Security Benefit, Charles Marley. We had John Stauffer, president of Stauffer Communications, and Val Jeffrey, president of KP&L. Some outstanding leaders helping to lead DTI. Like a lot of downtowns over the years, our downtown had kind of deteriorated. It once was the center of banking and finance, retail, certainly dining and entertainment. But as malls were built, strip centers built, and people moved to the suburbs, a lot of the retail followed them, and downtown suffered because of that. And so our organization really, although as a membership organization, it lost energy. It really lacked a strong vision, and it definitely lacked funding at that point in time. The previous executive director had left 9 months prior to my taking over, so there was a long period of time where we really were lacking leadership. So I decided I really needed to generate some funding, and memberships, for the most part, were about $170 for membership. And I thought, boy, if I could go out and immediately sell 10 memberships, I'd only have $1,700. And I thought I need more than this to make this organization financially sound. So I realized that we also needed people downtown generating traffic for the businesses, and we also needed a vision for the future. So I look back years ago when I was with Frye and Advertising, and I was invited to travel to Little Rock, Arkansas, to observe how they had branded their community. You might recall a campaign they had called Big on Little Rock, and their community was so proud of that. And so we went down to learn how they did that and how it permeated throughout the entire community. And one of the things I saw when I was down there on a Thursday night, they had a pavilion in downtown, and it was full of young professionals listening to music, drinking a beer, and just, there was so much energy. I thought, wow, I wish our downtown had something like that. So one of the first things I did was I created what I now call Second Saturday Concerts. I wanted to bring people downtown and enjoy music, and I did it at the only place really open back then, which was the Celtic Fox. Mike Fox had a stage that he provided, and we had the backdrop of the Capitol, beautiful setting, we blocked off 8th Street, and we started having concerts. Actually, it was on Thursday nights. We moved them to Friday nights, and now they're on Saturday nights. But some wonderful music right in the middle of 8th Street with the Capitol, as you can see in the background. And this started the effort to bring people downtown and to enjoy themselves with what we had at that particular time. I also remembered years ago that the Parks and Rec Department had brown bag concerts, and that they were popular, but sadly, they had stopped doing those also. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we had music on the avenue every week that people could enjoy as they were going to lunch or just coming down to listen to the music? So I brought back the old brown bag concerts, and every Wednesday from May through August, you can hear some great music on Kansas Avenue. And this has been going on now for all 8 years that I have been president of DTI. So I thought these are successful, and I'm able to get sponsorships for these events. So I was generating revenue that I didn't have before, but I needed to expand upon that. And just like the pumpkin run that the South Rotary is doing, there were a lot of 5Ks taking place, and I didn't want something that was just another 5K. So I thought, what could we do that's unique? Well, downtown has the Topeka Boulevard Bridge and the Kansas Avenue Bridge. So I said, wouldn't it be unique to have people running across those bridges as part of a 5K? So I created the Bridge to Bridge Run, and it became very popular in April. Actually, it was one of the first 5Ks available in the community, and generated a lot of interest, a lot of people running and walking. But they had an opportunity to cross the bridges, which most people will never get to do walking, and not to mention running. So that's become a very successful event to start the running season every year. And after that became successful, I thought, what else can I add to that? And I'm sitting in my office, which was in the 500 block of Kansas Avenue, and I looked out, and what did I see? Of course, across the street was the Topeka Tower. And I thought, you know, if people can run horizontally, why couldn't they run vertically? So I created the Tower Run, up 13 flights clear to the top of the tower, finishing in the top of the tower restaurant. And this was a very popular and definitely unique opportunity that a lot of people would never have. It's the tallest building in Northeast Kansas. And I tried it the first year. I got to the 4th floor. I thought I was doing pretty good. And then I realized I had 9 more floors to go. And believe me, when I got to the top, the first thing I needed was a chair to sit down. My legs were just like rubber. But for me, at 60 some years of age, it was a challenge. But we found that there were some people that could get up and down, not down, but up to the top within about 2 minutes, and didn't find it to be the challenge that I did. So we also added to it what we call the Tough Tower, which started in the basement of the tower. It was about a 75-yard sprint to the stairs, and then they went up into the parking garage, ran all 4 flights of the parking garage and back down, and then up to the top 13th floor of the tower. So again, a unique event in downtown that was very successful. And while we're looking at this picture, I just want to point out that the tower is now under new ownership, Ken Schmanke, and he's painted the lower floors, and I think it really looks great, and he's doing a great job in his ownership of that building in Townsite Plaza. So I had a couple of pretty successful events, but I thought, what else could I do to generate more traffic downtown and sponsorships? I remembered years ago the Coleman Hawkins Jazz Festival, and again, this was an event that had ended. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to create a jazz festival in downtown? So with the help of my friend Steve Law, who is the president of the Topeka Jazz Workshop, we put together a series of concerts in downtown the first year that included concerts in some of the businesses, and then the lead act right in the middle of Kansas Avenue. And it was successful. We then moved to T-Pack, and we had the iconic Marilyn May sing to a crowd there. And again, all of our concerts are free and have been free. And Marilyn May, if you don't know, is out of Kansas City. She has been on The Tonight Show a record 76 times. Johnny Carson just loved her. And I think she holds the record for the most appearances on The Tonight Show. So we were able to get Marilyn to come and sing. And that, again, was another great addition to creating this jazz festival. We then had kind of a magical moment happen. Visit Topeka had just completed their first food truck festival. It was out at Gage Park, you probably remember it. And they were wanting to do another one downtown. And they asked me if there were any dates and events that maybe they could partner with us. And I suggested the Jazz Festival would be a great place to add the food truck. And so we did. And the Jazz and Food Truck Festival was born. And perhaps many of you attended it, but there were thousands of people that showed up. And we, at that point, realized we had something that was really powerful. And we thought, if we can draw that many people for jazz, wonder what we could do if we had country and a rock and food truck festival. So we added a country and food truck festival, and indeed, everything we thought could happen did. We had about 10 or 12,000 people show up for that event, and obviously it proved the country is a little more popular than jazz, but we had a wonderful, wonderful concert with local talent as well as jazz from New Orleans. The group there on the bottom left is hold on, I see it, Waterloo Revival. Great, great country band, nationally known. And so Country and Food Truck was off and running. The next one that we did was the Rock and Food Truck Festival. And we had some tremendous local acts as well as national acts. And as you can see, we built a stage right there on 9th and Kansas with the Capitol in the background. Beautiful setting. And we had 15,000 people show up for it. So those events continue to be some of the largest events in Topeka. They continue to be free for the public. And it has done exactly what I had hoped, and that's bring people downtown to enjoy it, to support the businesses down here, and to realize how much fun they can have in downtown Topeka. So after that, I thought, what else could I do that's unique? And every year for the last 14 years, the Chamber of Commerce has hosted a inner city visit. We've been all over, primarily in the Midwest. One of our trips was to Fort Collins, Colorado. And many of you that have been there know that Fort Collins has quite a few breweries. And in talking to them, I learned that they had a big brew fest every year that was well attended. And so when I came back, I thought, if they can do it, why can't we do it in Topeka? So I created Tap That Topeka 7 years ago. And again, one of my goals was to bring people downtown, but primarily I wanted to target young professionals. And this event has done exactly that. Although you'll find people of all ages, it's an event that draws close to 2,000 people. If you like beer, this is the place for you to be, with over 300 different breweries from around the country represented. fun event. And, one of my problems over the years was I only had a staff of 2 people. So putting these events on was really an effort, but we were very successful in so doing. Visit Topeka approached me and they said, you've only got 2 employees and you're putting on these big events. We have quite a few employees. And what if we bought the rights from you to tap that on for the future? So I sold the rights to Visit Topeka for 3 years. This is the 3rd year of that contract, and they are now handling it and doing a great job with it. But again, a great event for downtown Topeka. There have been car shows in downtown in the past, but I thought there was no reason why we couldn't have another one. We have such an asset with the Capitol being in downtown, and I tapped that around the Capitol, and I thought, why can't we have a car show around the Capitol? So I created Cruising the Capitol Car Show. We have such unique cars that people love, and they love to show them. So we have cars, we have trucks, we have motorcycles, whatever the vehicle is that you own and want to show, we allow them to participate. We have over 400 entries. It brings thousands of people downtown to see them. In the first years of the event, we actually had a burnout lane on 8th Street, which was pretty interesting to see all these cars racing down 8th Street in front of the Capitol, the lane rubber. Eventually, the police and our organization realized it was pretty dangerous, and we did away with that. But this became one of the big car shows in all of Northeast Kansas, and continues to be a major attraction that we do every year in August. Another event that is very unique to downtown was presented to me by one of my board members and past board president, Zach Sneathen, who's with HTK Architects. And in his travels, he came across an event called Touch a Truck. And this is an event that kids love. They can climb on trucks, they can climb on the cabs of a lot of the bulldozers, cranes, they can honk horns. We have all kinds of vehicles and things for them to climb on. We attract about 15,000 people, mostly families, to this event every year. One of the big attractions, as you can see on the right, we bring in 2 tons of sand, and the kids love to play in the sand pile, and it's just a fun time. One of the reasons we did this, it was about the time that we were going to have all the construction happening on Kansas Avenue for the redevelopment project. And I wanted to get people used to seeing trucks, bulldozers up and down Kansas Avenue, and realize that a major redevelopment project was going to happen, and hopefully get them excited what that was going to bring for downtown. We also realized that there used to be a parade, Labor Day parade, and there was no longer a Labor Day parade. So this was over the Labor Day weekend, and we kind of felt that this was a salute to labor, and it's become one of the biggest events downtown, certainly for families, and just a great, great event for our downtown. Another thing that I realized was people want to live downtown, and they were very interested in loft living. So I created a loft tour so that people could see what could be done with some of the older buildings downtown, and that living in those had great potential. And as you can see by this picture and others, these are beautiful homes that people are living in right now in downtown. The demand for these far exceeds our supply, and I think that in the future you'll see the first developments downtown being residential in nature, so that we can satisfy the needs of all the people that want to live downtown. Um, One thing that we have downtown that also is unique is we have a lot of alleys. And it was always my desire to activate some of those alleys. And there you can see Roger Underwood right there in the front of this picture. We took the alley between the Jayhawk Tower and what is now the Iron Rail, and we hung lights. We built a stage, and we created this event with food truck and beverages. And we also asked some of our local artists to paint pictures of their vision of the future of downtown. And you can see some of those that are hanging there on one of the walls. Those paintings were available for sale. Any that were sold, the artists obviously benefited, and then we took a little percentage of that for DTI. We had great entertainment. Maria the Mexican, it's well known here in Topeka, is in the center picture, and just proved that these alleys can be more than just something that people drive through and where our trash is emptied. It's really unique and cool, and we hope to have many more of these in the future. And really, lastly, probably the biggest event of all, many people said, what are you going to do when the redevelopment project is over? How are we going to celebrate? And it was always my vision to have the band Kansas, who originated right here in Topeka, perform on Kansas Avenue. So I was able to raise over $70,000, and the plan was to build a big stage right in the middle of 8th and Kansas and have Kansas perform. The date was July 2nd of 2016. You would think that that would be a nice, hot, dry day. We expected between 25 and 30,000 people. We were working with the police department and emergency management because of the large numbers. But would you believe that that Friday and Saturday leading up to the concert, we had torrential rains, flooding, dangerous lightning, and I had to make a tough decision to move it off of Kansas Avenue. And fortunately, I had the Expo Center as a backup in case of rain. So we moved the concert to the Expo Center. We had many food trucks that had been planned. They were able to move into the exhibition hall and still provide food. The concert was still free, and thousands of people gathered to listen to Kansas. Unfortunately, not on Kansas Avenue as I had planned, but still to celebrate the redevelopment project with an iconic band that started right here in Topeka and is so well known. So that is basically a summary of what I created, knowing that I needed to generate sponsorships. Those sponsorships certainly brought significant revenue, not only to fund the events, but for DTI as an organization. And the revenues continued to grow and make us financially sound. It also led to more memberships in DTI due to the new positive perception of our organization. And it made people realize that downtown can be fun. And now, of course, we're part of the Greater Topeka Partnership. We have an event team that now handles much of the planning and execution of these events. And so we're able to focus DTI's effort more on economic development. But these events will live on, hopefully for many years to come. Again, the concerts are all free, and I think it's added greatly to the quality of life in Topeka. Definitely the quality of activity and things that are happening in downtown, and has led to, I really think, confidence that allowed investors to build hotels and restaurants, and now the plaza will be the area that these events pretty much will be handled. So that's my presentation. I'd be glad to answer any questions anybody might have, but it's been a great 8 years, exciting time for downtown, and I've been honored to have been part of this and surrounded with people with great vision that help make it happen.
That's great, Vince. Thank you very much. I do see some questions, and we'll invite questions. I saw one in chat, which is what new business is going in next to the pennant? Do you know, or can you even say what that is?
Yes, Gary and Martha Pilot bought that building, and they are going to live above it. And then Martha is going to have her ad agency there, and then on the other side will be retail.
Okay.
That is a large building, but once again, it just shows that people want to live downtown, and these buildings are in demand, and they're going to live on the second floor of that building.
Good. Are there just any other questions? If so, unmute and fire away.
Hi, Vince. This is Anita.
Yes, Anita.
And I went through some of the very difficult times that Topeka faced. And then Vince Frye came on board. And what you have done has been nothing short of a miracle. And just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh.
And what is your greatest hope now as you pass the baton?
Well, my hope is that the momentum continues, not just for downtown, but all of Topeka. We have several big projects for downtown that I know will be announced soon.
Good.
They're significant enough that I'm thinking maybe I don't want to retire yet. But, this pandemic has certainly curtailed a lot of things throughout the community, but we're really just starting to see our potential, and the future is definitely bright. And Anita, you certainly have been a part of that, definitely.
It's been a pleasure.
So if I could just jump in. First off, Vance, I'm new to Topeka. I moved to Kansas in June. I had driven through Topeka on I-70 for years and years, heading out to western Kansas with my family. I want to say I'm very sorry I missed that hot rod lane when it was still open. That would have been a lot of fun. But being brand new to Topeka and coming here and just seeing it as a newcomer, it's just a lovely downtown area. It's some of the boutique breweries and other restaurants. With somebody new with different eyes, I love it here, and it's almost like it feels like a town, but it's a city. And I'm just really excited to see where it continues to go. So thank you for your work, and thank you for sharing. I'm excited about a lot of it. So thank you.
Well, I will tell you the Evergy Plaza will be a gathering spot for years to come. And sadly, we couldn't gather there in the numbers that we wanted to, but in the future, we'll have ice skating in the winters and big concerts. And I hope we can gather and watch Chiefs games and NCAA basketball and just enjoy it. So a lot of great things, certainly for the future.
And I just have to add one other thing. Even all those statues that are all over, I was out of New Jersey, and we had statues that the city paid to come, and they were like traveling statues, and they would be there for a short amount of time. And my first day coming into work, I asked somebody, I said, how long are the statues going to be downtown? And of course, they thought I was a little goofy, but it's just lovely. So
thank you. Appreciate it.
Vince, this is Gordon. Is there, maybe everyone knows, but I don't know, what will happen? Are there any plans for the post office?
Yeah, the post office sadly has been on the market for many years. It was sold, it was purchased. The individual that purchased it had plans that apparently, because it's a historic designated building, were not approved, and consequently they backed out of the sale. It's still on the market. I'm told there's interest, but I'm also told that the postal system is kind of dragging their feet in making any decisions. I'm told this is not unusual just for Topeka. It's happening all over the United States. So there continues to be people that are interested in purchasing it, but at this point, there is nothing to announce.
Thank you.
That.
Any other questions for Vince?
Sure, Vince. Our proposed new member, Marcy Fiorentino, asked if there is a restaurant up at the top of the bank building, or what plans there might be.
Yeah, that was a great place. Ken Schmanke owns that property now, and I've talked to Ken about that. He's looking to put something up there. I think right now his focus is some of the deferred maintenance that needed to be done throughout the building, including the elevators to get to the top of the tower. But there is nothing like that anywhere in Northeast Kansas. The view is incredible. I was on the board there for many years, and it was a private club. I think that they need to make it a public venue in the future, but Ken has plans for it, and at some time I'm sure he'll announce it, and I'll look forward to it because it is truly unique, and it'll be something that I think we'll all look forward to.
Well, thank you very much, Vince. I must say, I've been to a bunch of the concerts and food truck festivals and stuff, and they were just dynamite. And I was also blown away by just how many people were down there. I was even at that alley event that you saw Roger and Joni in the picture. I was just farther back in the crowd, but that was very unique, and I loved that evening. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Place.
Okay, thank you again. Next week, Joni has a hand up.
One of the events that you neglected to talk about, Vince, was the chocolate day downtown, and I never miss it. And one day we were sitting there enjoying our chocolate, and there was a family there from out of town, and they said, they were from Lawrence, actually, our competitor, and they said they enjoyed coming to Topeka because we have family events and family activities in Topeka, and Lawrence didn't. So, kudos.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Joni. Yeah, Touch a Truck is just the ultimate family event. That's a gem. It's really great. Next week, we are going to have an in-person meeting. We will be capping the attendance at 25 as we did last time. We will be getting an email out, probably, I'll check with Marie, but most likely early next week. And you will be able to sign up for attendance. Now, we will also Zoom the meeting, but our speaker is our very own Ann Palmer, who, as you know, is a very accomplished photographer. And Ann is going to be showing some of her photography work, so it'll be another great presentation by one of our club members. So we can all look forward to that. If we could all unmute, I think that's it, unless anybody has an announcement I missed. We'll go ahead and do the four-way test. I will start it off. Of the things we think, say, and do. The truth is it fair to all
concerned. Will build goodwill and better friendships.
Will it be beneficial to
all concerned.
And will it be fun? And will it be kind?
Right. Will it be downtown?
Right.
Well, anyway, everybody, if you haven't been out to Kay's Garden, it is absolutely gorgeous. So try and get signed up for next week's meeting. And I'm looking forward to next year. Hopefully we can maybe increase the frequency of in-person meetings, but we're going to approach that cautiously. So everybody have a safe and fun weekend, and either see you in person at the zoo next week or via Zoom. So take care and enjoy your weekend. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Vince.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.